Okay, I've got a little test plan open in Home Designer Pro 2014. I placed a couple of electrical items. I'm going to delete these dimensions here. I've just been playing around with it and thinking about what I might do the video on. I'm going to zoom in over here and go to the dimension tools. Now, I got mine set up for, I don't use the drop down. Point to point or end to end dimension tool here. And you can see the little precursor there, the little triangle that shows me I'm on the center. I'm going to dimension, oops. Okay, I like the dimension to the outside. I'll just move it manually to the inside. Just the way the dimension tool is programmed. And you can see I preset that to 6 feet. You just click on the electrical item. If you want to move it to 12 feet, then you just type in the value and hit it, and it moves it to 12. Like Alovia spoke of, you can click on the item, the electrical item, and select it, and then in Pro you have in the Edit toolbar this tool here, Transform Replicate, and you can move that selected item and copy it. Like the code is, I think, every 6 feet, something like that. Don't hold my feet to the fire if that's not true. But I'm going to make one copy and move that copy 6 feet, X. Actually, I want to move it minus 6 feet. Yeah, and it moves it 6 feet to the left. Now, let's check the veracity of the software. We'll just move that over there. Yeah, sure enough, it's quite reliable and accurate. So you could take the next one and make a copy. You have to check that, tell it how many copies, and then tell it how far, minus 6 feet, that's minus 72. We'll use inches this time. There's another one. Of course, if let me just get rid of these. Now for plugs, I normally just use the automatic plug thing. Let's see, I think it's under under electric, and this one here, and it'll place. Oh, okay. So there's no doorway. My bad. Put a door in there. Now it'll probably work. I didn't know that there was that limitation. Probably a reasonable one. And it put them relative to the openings in the wall. And it put them in by code, by IRC code. Now, when you're doing electric plans, I'd recommend that tool. It's time saver. And then if the outlets go in not exactly where you want, well, then you can just move them to where you do want. Just keep in mind that that tool lays them out by code, and if you alter anything too much, you're going to have to. I told you to use the arrow keys, and I forgot in Pro the arrow keys don't work like they do in Premiere. My bad. So now, if you wanted to put this ceiling light in the center of the room, how are you going to find the center? Well, the easiest way, like Alovia said, and I agree, go to CAD Tools, draw a line. Oops. CAD, draw a line, and then I'm going to turn off angle snaps just for a moment, and then draw a line from there to that interior corner. Then another one, see a little red box that shows me that I'm on an intersection. There's the center of the room. That works really good. And then electric items like to snap to CAD lines. That's another reason why it's a really good idea to use them. Now, if you wanted to lay out a room in a pattern, again, I'd use CAD lines like Alovia recommends. And I would use the box tool here, rectangular polyline. You can snap it on a point and just drag straight down, and then let those corners, well, it's all right. I'm off a little bit. I guess I need to, no, I guess my room's not perfectly, that's fairly close. Get this exact and snap it right on. See that little red snap precursor? I want to get it right on the line. Oops. There. Well, it's not perfect, but it's a quick way to lay out 4. Of course, if I'm going to press the C key and then drag inward, and that concentrically moves the object in concentrically. I'm just holding the C key down and grabbing a handle like that. This is another way to do it. And you can take this one here and snap it to the corner of that polyline. Let the copy key and when you have CAD lines laid there, it's very easy and quick to because they'll snap to CAD lines and CAD nexuses. Now I've got that group. I'm going to copy it in place and drag the pair down, let them snap on there. There's a pattern of 4. And along with the CAD lines, as I kind of intimated earlier in this little show, you can just use your dimension tools if you want to get it very, very precise and do an electric plan to show you to your electrician. So let me point out something about plug locations. The electrician is going to lay them out by code, and on plugs especially, they're mainly to show the electrician where you need specialized things. You don't need to show every outlet because they would lose their license if they were to do an electric job and sign it off and it wasn't properly by code. Just a little note there. You don't have to sweat blood over these electric plans because you're not licensed to create an electric plan anyway. But if you wanted a dedicated circuit here, then you'd want to go over here to the text tools and tell the electrician that right here, now my arrow didn't work. Huh, it's not working. Okay. Do all caps. I think I spelled that right. There's no spell checker? Well, forgive me if that's not spelled correctly. I'm spoiled, and I'm also stupid. Oh, there's the arrow. I didn't think the arrow formed right. I'm going to put the arrow there, and I think this, just for drafting purposes, I'm going to drag that down, click on this, use the break tool. I usually break mine into, whoops. Well, I'm having a little trouble here. Well, I guess maybe that's the break. Okay. As long as I get a break in there, I don't care. I commonly will have a straight leader and then have the angled one go to the item. I don't like the arrow type. I'm going to change the arrow to that kind of arrow. And also as a draftsman, I wouldn't leave this leader here slanted like that. I'd use a parallel tool and straighten it up. That looks better. And so really you don't need to put your plugs in except where you need more than one or you need a particular kind. Add some text and let your electrician know that that's what you want. He'll lay everything else relative to that by code. Okay, let's continue on here. I'm going to click on this dimension and drag and go to the wall. And then this little tool here, you left click and drag, create a new, well, it didn't work. Let me get that out of the way. Sometimes when things don't work, you just have to try again. Like I'm just not getting it. It probably wants me to drag to the outside, which I don't want to do. Okay, it kind of worked that time. It went to the framing instead of the surface. I want to measure it from the surfaces. Okay. So you can use dimensions, you can use CAD lines and CAD polylines, and electrical items kind of tend to want to snap to that. I guess I should show you a switch. We'll put a switch over here by the door and wire it. Whoops, I lost it. I hit the space bar. Shouldn't have done that. We'll wire that to this circuit here. Overhead lights. Just left click drag, let it snap to the light fixture, left click drag. Okay, now let's, I'm going to look at this switch in a camera view and zoom in. Click on that and copy in place And then, okay, yeah, I didn't know it was automatically going to do that. It didn't allow me, it's pre-programmed not to let them two be in the same place. So well, wait a minute, I don't see the other one. Where is it? Ah, okay, they were, okay. In camera view, they weren't on top, but in plan view, they were in the same exact space. And in order to get them really close together, I'm just going to zoom in and hit the control key. I don't know, this is something I've complained to Chief Architect Incorporated about. These wiring things don't snap to the end like they used to in earlier versions. You have to actually zoom in and make connection, or sometimes you get a kind of disconnected looking. That looks right in camera view. Now if you wanted to do a stacked one, I'm going to click on that and shift select and click on them both and hit copy and place. I didn't realize it was going to do that, but that's okay. I'm just going to drag this down and then drag this one down. They do kind of group nicely. I want them to match, so I'm just going to drag that over there. Use a control key. That looks a little bit better. Now this won't show up properly in plan view. It just looks like two switches, so you'd have to add some text saying that they're both doubled. But I've actually got, or if you just wanted, I'll delete that one and this one. If you wanted two stacked like that, see in plan view it's not going to show up, so you have to add some text to tell your electrician that they're just stacked. I suppose I can probably stack these a little bit nicer. I'm just using there. So you can do whatever you want to do, and in terms of, but like in plan view, you're going to have to tell the electrician that there's two there, and it's probably wiring wise, it's going to be rather dicey. I think what I would do is I'd move one out of the way. Yeah, see, this one is one with a wire on it. I'll move that out of the way and move the wiring a little bit. Now I'm going to wire this one. You need to have them separated like this in plan view to get them to wire right in plan view. And then we'll put a line over here to this plug, let's say. And these electrical connections are, of course, malleable. And you can actually put brakes in them. The brake tool works on these connections. If you need them, you know, to parse differently, I'll put one more brake in there just to show you that you can. Put a brake there, then grab the brake. Okay, so you don't just have to take whatever the software gives you. Now, let's say this is supposed to be stacked, and in camera views they are stacked, but this would be confusing in a plan view. So you need to add an arrow in text saying that the switches are stacked. There's two switches there, and they're stacked. You know, once you move them, they stay put. You can also open the dialog box, and it'll tell you what the height to the center is. That's the center of the switch. That's 45, and this one is 47. Okay. I could probably get them a little bit closer together if I wanted to, but I could just open the dialog box and we'll go 0.5 inches. Raise that up and that up just a tad. So you get the idea. And well, I think that's kind of what I wanted to accomplish. Oh, there's one other thing I thought. Some of you guys want to do an electrical legend in Pro and other programs. The thing, the way I did it in Chief Architect Premiere back before we had electrical legends and electrical what's the term out, schedules, which you don't have, and is we took I would take an invisible wall and just I've got angle snaps off. Let me turn angle snaps off, or I won't be able to draw anything straight. Okay, and then you can put a series of you have to have a wall for electrical items. Some electrical items won't snap anywhere except to a wall, like plugs. Now, this light fixture, I can create it away from the wall and then drag it over close to the wall. And we'll do a sconce. A sconce, there it is. Hit the light and then click it. See, it puts a sconce. You click right next to the wall, it creates a sconce. And if you don't want a sconce, then you have to drag it kind of away from the wall. And I'm going to move that over just a little bit closer. Okay, that's good enough. You get the idea. And then you can add text items over here. We'll call it a duplex. And this is how you can make an electrical legend. Use an invisible wall and then put text out here. I'm going to copy that and just drag it down and open it and change the text. And so on. And then if you want, you can turn the, before you send this to layout, we could go to walls, invisible, and turn that off. I think the electrical things would stay. Where's walls invisible? There it is. Yeah, see, the electrical stuff stays, but you need a wall there for some of the electrical symbols to stick there. And then you could gussy it up a little bit by going to your CAD tools, if you wanted to. Put a border around it. Add text up here, say electrical legend. If you wanted to, it just depends on what you think looks good. Put that line there instead of the wall, and you could also add lines. In here, if you wanted to. You don't have to. So that's where you can make an electrical legend for your plans, and just add add your symbols, add the text, and then send a layout at a scale. And you could have this in the same plan with your other plan. I think the way I did it back when is I had a plan that I named Electrical Legend, and I would use that for all my plans and then send it separately to the same layout page. And it worked fine. If you want to do exterior renders and so forth, then this wouldn't be a good idea. You would want to have it in a separate plan, but you get the idea, I think. Well, that's all I plan to do with this video. I hope it's helpful to some of you guys, and good evening.